All right, today we're going to be talking about rotations. And specifically, what steps are required to rotate an image about a point. Maybe a better word than about would be around. Say around a point. So here's the rules. All right. A rotation about a fixed point called the center of rotation through an angle of x degrees is a function such that if the point is the center of rotation, then the image and pre-image are the same point. If the point is not the center of rotation, then the image and pre-image are the same distance from the center of rotation. Bless you. If the point is not the center of rotation, then the image and pre-image are the same distance from the center of rotation. And the angle formed by point to center of rotation to image matches the angle of rotation. All right, we're going to say this. All rotations are counterclockwise. Unless stated otherwise. Here's what all that means, all right, in its most basic terms. If you're asked to rotate B around A 90 degrees, rotate B around A 90 degrees. If you're rotating around A is your center of rotation. You're going to rotate point B around point A 90 degrees. So let's say that point B is right here. Here's the deal about rotation. When rotating, you always stay the same distance from the center of rotation. Always stay the same distance from the center of rotation. That's so important, we're going to write it down. If we're taking B around A 90 degrees, what you need to do is you need to picture a circle around point A that goes through point B. But A is the center of that circle. Okay? Got to picture this big circle that goes around A. Kind of goes like this. But it goes through B. This is the gist of rotation. See it? Now, if We draw a line from B to the center of rotation. I'd like to get a red dashed line here if I could order one up, please. Thank you, sir. Right here. From B to the center of rotation. Now, if we're rotating B around point A 90 degrees, we want to draw another line that forms a 90-degree angle with the red line. And since all rotations are counterclockwise unless otherwise noted, isn't this look like about 90 degrees right here? About a quarter of the way around the circle. So then what we do is we take B and now we move it. We rotate it. We pretend that B is connected to A with a string. All right? And we move this string 90 degrees this way till we get to here. And now we're at B prime. And that is a 90-degree rotation about point A or around point A. That's rotating a point around a point. Got it? If we rotated B 180 degrees around A, it would end up over here, wouldn't it? Right here. This would be B double prime. This would be a 180-degree rotation. If we add another dashed line, right down here, an extension of our first rotation. We're going now with B triple prime. How many degrees rotation is that? That's 270, right? That's 270-degree rotation. And if you went all the way around the circle and you landed right back on the original point, isn't that a 360 rotation around point A? All right, the deal with rotation is that you always stay the same distance from the center of rotation. And that every point, a line drawn from a point to the center of rotation to the image, forms your angle of rotation. Does that make sense? It's a whole deal with rotation. If you have to rotate a shape around a point, come on, man, what is going on with this thing? Just the whole screen. Let's rotate. Rotate, triangle, ABC. About point R, 120 degrees. Let's put point R right here. We'll put triangle ABC right here. We got to rotate ABC about point R 120 degrees. Counterclockwise. We always go counterclockwise unless otherwise noted. So the first thing I do is I take I take a line and I sketch it from R to A. Little dashed line right there. And then if you had a protractor, that'd be great, but most of you don't. So look, if you're going from A to R, if you keep going in a straight line, isn't that 180 degrees? Okay. If you break this in half right here, look, break that in half, right? Isn't that 90? And if we want 120, we want 90, and we want another 30, don't we? So we want about here. And now look, we got to stay the same distance away. A has to rotate this way. See it? A has got to go this way. It's got to rotate around R. It's got to stay the same distance away from R. Probably going to be up here, right about here, A prime. See it? All right, you're just taking it, you're putting it on a circle that goes around R. You're moving in 120 degrees. Let me do the same thing with C. Point C. We kind of sketch a line, all right? We picture a circle that goes around R. Start getting a lot of things on the paper, all right? And it gets a little bit tougher. But look, here's 180 maybe. This line, break that in half. There's 90, about 30 more, right about here. Maybe a little closer to A, right about here. All right, so we rotate right around here. Here we go, C prime. And then B is really far away, so we need a big circle around R, don't we? Not that big. All right, look how far B is away. If you had a ruler, you could measure, but you're taking a big circle around R with B. It's going way up here. Here, I'll use this green one, it'll be easier to see. Big circle around R. Big circle around R, right? Here was our C circle around R. Here's our A circle around R. Here's our B circle going around R. We got to stay the same distance away. All right? We got to be on a 120 degree angle. So there's our 180. Go through here. There's a 90. There's about 120. Look where that puts us. Way up here, right? Here we go. C prime. No, check that. That's B prime, isn't it? That's B prime. A prime, B prime, C prime. Now, seeing as I'm sketching, right? And I'm not using a ruler or graph paper, my triangle kind of grew. Should the triangle change size? No, the triangle shouldn't change size, should it? For some reason, mine decided to get bigger. It's not going to be any bigger. It's just going to be rotated counterclockwise about point R. If I draw a line from my pre-image to my center of rotation, and from my center of rotation to my image with a 120 rotation, this should measure 120. All right, if I go from B to my center of rotation, and from my center of rotation to B prime, that angle should also be 120. Okay? A line drawn from C to the center of rotation. C to the center of rotation, from the center of rotation to C, should be 120 degrees. That's the deal with rotation. And A prime are the same distance from R. B and B prime, same distance from R. C and C prime, same distance from R. Everything stays the same distance from the center of rotation. All right? You understand that? Not the best drawing in the world, but hopefully you could just picture taking that drawing and rotating it around R. Okay? Everything rotates the same degree measure and stays the same distance away. All right, next we're going to talk about rotations in the coordinate plane. And this is nice because there are some rules. Just like there were reflection rules, we had reflection rules on Monday when we reflected over the x-axis and the y-axis, and then we reflected over y equals x. Now we've got rotation rules in the coordinate plane, and here's a 90-degree rotation rule. So 90 degrees, and these are all about the origin. If you're going to rotate a point in the coordinate plane 90 degrees about the origin, here's the rule. Here's the rule. The rule is that for every xy, after the rotation, your new x becomes the opposite of y. Your new y value is the old x, or the original x. This is going from pre-image to image. Pre-image to image. So if your pre-image was at, let's say, point A, was at 5,2, and you're going to rotate it 90 degrees about the origin, what are the coordinates of A prime? Look what happens in the rule. Your new x is the opposite of the original y. -2, 5. Very good. All right, so if you're rotating a triangle or a quadrilateral 90 degrees about the origin, you would just apply that rule to each point in the shape. That's 90 degrees about the origin. Let's go 180 rotation. 180 degrees about the origin. Here's the rule. The rule is for every xy. After the rotation, your new x will be the opposite of your original x. Your new y will be the opposite of your original y. So if our pre-image of point B is at 5,2, and we're going 180 now, so our B prime, where's our B prime going to be? -5, -2. Very good. All right, 270 about the origin. If you're going 270 degrees about the origin, your rule is that for every XY value that you have after the rotation, your new X will be your original Y. Your new Y will be the opposite of your original X. So if we had a pre-image of point C and it was at 5,2, and we were going to rotate it 270 degrees about the origin, well then our C prime would be located at 2, -5. Any questions on any of that? We don't need to do 360, do we? In a 360 rotation about the origin, doesn't everything just stay the same? Because it rotates back onto itself, doesn't it? Okay. Any questions on any of that? Anybody at home got any questions about any of that? All right, let's do one more of these. Let's say that triangle PQR has vertices. P is at 1, 1. Q is at 4, 5. R is at 5, 1. Hey, turn your speaker off. Microphone off. Mute your microphone, whoever that is. All right, and what you're going to be doing today is you're going to graph PQR and its image. After a 90-degree rotation about the origin. Okay? So what we do is we take P, Q, and R and we graph it. First thing you do. Let me see if I can get a nicer graph today. These are all positive, right? So let's go here. P is at 1, 1. Here's 1, 1. There's P. Q is at 4, 5. So 1. Here's 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 5s right here. That's Q. R is at 5, 1. So here's 5 and 1. Here's R. And Connect those. All right. There's P, Q, and R. 90 degrees rotation about the origin. So what was our rule for 90 degrees? Somebody look up so I ain't got to scroll. Look on your paper. You just wrote it down. 90-degree rotation rule. What is it?
For every x and y, the x is going to be the opposite of y, and your y is going to be x.
Thank you. There's our 90-degree rule, right? 90-degree rule. So if our P is at 1, 1, then our P prime is going to be at, where's our P prime going to be? Negative 1, 1? Right? If our Q is at 4, 5, and we rotate our Q prime, where's our Q prime going to be? Negative 5, 4. Good. And then we got R at 5, 1. We're going to rotate it. R prime is going to be at, where's it going to be, Vince? Negative 1, 5. All right. So then we're going to take those, we're going to plot them. As soon as I can get a red pen. There we go. Here's our P prime. P prime, negative 1, 1. P prime, negative 1, 1. There we go. P prime. Q prime, negative 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's negative 5. Here's 4. That is our Q prime. R prime is going to be at negative 1, 5. So we go negative 1, 5 right here. That is our R prime. And then we play connect the dot. And we got a nice little 90-degree rotation about this origin right here. If you drew a line from P, or a segment from P to the origin to P prime, P to the origin to P prime, what's that going to measure? It's going to measure 90 degrees, isn't it? All right. From every pre-image point to its corresponding point, same distance away, 90-degree measure. All right, from R to the center of rotation. And then from R to R prime, another 90 degrees. Okay, and then that Q to the center of rotation, that would go right down that leg, so that would really get messy. But I hope you got the idea. No matter what you're rotating, when you're rotating it, and no matter what you're rotating it around, pre-image and image have to stay the same distance from the center of rotation. And if you draw a line from the pre-image to the center of rotation to the image, it needs to match your degree of rotation for every point. All right, so with that, I'm going to give you some practice problems. And those practice problems are going to be on page 115. On page 115, you're going to do 1 through 6. computer's not cooperating this morning. Page 115, 1 through 6. Page 116. One through 7. All right. Check focus for homework. Look, guys, the homework questions are coming from the notes. Okay, there's no reason for anybody to get any homework questions wrong. You're supposed to have the completed assignment in front of you and your notes in front of you when you check focus for homework. Those have been the directions from day one. Back in, I don't even know when that was. Back in what, August sometime? End of August when we started? So when I get the questions directly out of the notes, you guys should be getting hundreds. Well, if you're doing the homework assignment, some of you don't even do them. I would recommend you do them. And when you do them, have your notes in front of you. All right, I'm done. If nobody has any questions, you guys are excused from the Zoom meeting. Get your assignment complete. Study guide tomorrow. Quiz on Friday.